All right, guys, I'm back. It is Kaylin with She Helps People, and I am kind of starting all of our batches of our videos here. And the one thing that I wanted to share with first, like as our first video right out of the gate, besides kind of like the intro and getting to know me and all of that stuff, the one thing that I really wanted to share is your mindset. So this is number one. This is how we get to all of the other things. Okay, so I know you might say, well, if I had extra time, or if I had extra money, or if I had maybe a better head start in life, or if I had more support, all those ifs, what ifs, I am here to tell you that no matter what field you are on, no matter what playing field you are on, no matter what your upbringing was, no matter where you are in this world, no matter all of those things, the number one thing that is the most important that I have figured out on my journey is your mindset. So, one thing that I learned a ton about when I was going through my educational journey is it's called growth mindset. So, if you want to look up some really inspirational videos or look up kind of like the author of this, the fairy godmother of this, her name is Dr. Carol Dweck. She is phenomenal. She talks about the growth mindset. And it's just the idea that if you have an open mind to trying new things, to learning something new, if you are more open-minded to trying that, you're going to be better at it. You're going to succeed at it. You're going to do well at it than if you had a closed mindset to it. So 9 times out of 10, the biggest thing we have to do is just kind of shift our mindset a little bit to be like, hey, listen, I want to try this, or, this is tough, but I'm doing it because of X, Y, and Z. And that's super important to me. Your mindset is the number one thing. So I talk a lot about, in my day job, I talk a lot a bit about in my coaching roles that I do, about how I do not feel like I am the smartest person in the room. I am not. But I have the grit and the stubbornness and the perseverance. I have all of these things that on my hardest days, when my smarts aren't cutting it, it puts me over. It keeps me going. It keeps pushing me and helping me to get those things done. Because if I didn't have the perseverance, if I didn't have the grit, if I didn't have the open mindset, when I come to a stumbling block on something I don't know, or I get resistance and pushback, because that happens a lot in life, all of those skills that I've learned help me get through it. They help me say, okay, you know what? Maybe today we take a step back, but tomorrow we start with a fresh new mindset. And we start, at this time in the morning, and we make a plan and we attack it. Or maybe, hey, I need to reach out to these people and have them help me with it because I don't know, I'm stuck. Or maybe I need to do some more research on my own. Those skills, having that open mindset, having that perseverance, that grit, that mental strength is the difference between the passing and the failing. It's the difference between the kind of spinning your wheels and persevering. And so for me, the open mindset is the number one thing. And it's the thing that comes first. And it's on my hardest days, I'll say, you know what? I'm giving myself some grace. Maybe I take a break on this skill or this thing today. That's fine. We're human. But I start again tomorrow. I don't stop. And maybe I take a break on those things. Or maybe, I'm having a rough day, so I kind of don't hold all this, I don't pick up all the slack. But then at the end of the day, I say, hey, I can't live here. We need to start fresh tomorrow. So having that motivational mindset, having that growth mindset, that open mindset, and that grit and that perseverance. I say all the time that I really hope my children if they get anything from me, I don't think that there's one kind of smart. I don't think everybody is the same kind of smart. And I don't think you have to be a bookworm to do well, to get through school or to get through life or any of those things. But you gotta have grit. You gotta have work ethic. You gotta have perseverance. And those things are things that I think, hopefully, maybe you're ingrained with a little bit when you're born, but also they're definitely things that can be learned. In the situations in your upbringing, if you're at your first job and you have to learn how to deal with people, and maybe things don't go your way, and maybe you're working for very little pay, you can take something out of any of those situations. In my case, and in my how I am wired, when I see negative things, it's a really good learning experience for me because I say, hey, you know, this is not my favorite thing. I'm not super excited about this. However, what is it teaching me? So for example, if you have kiddos that are going to be getting their first job, okay, 14 years old, getting their first job, you're like, I want them to do well, you know, but you want to protect them, right? Like you're their parent. Let them fail. Let them fail. Think about how many times you've done things perfectly the first time. Not very often, doesn't happen very often. It's okay to fail. And I think that's something in education, unfortunately, that's a disservice to our kiddos because we're taught so much that they have to do it perfectly the first time. And in life, that's not how it goes, right? If you own a business or you're working for someone else, if you're running your home, you don't do everything perfectly the first time. It takes those experiences, it takes that journey, it takes, you know, paying the bills every month over and over to figure out, you know, what your budget looks like. And maybe, you know, if you tweak a couple things, you can save some dollars here or there. Everything takes practice, everything takes learning. And we're not meant to do things perfectly the first time around. So let your kids fail and be that healthy support system to kind of pick them up and be there, you know, when they fail and say, hey, listen, like it doesn't feel so great, right? But what are we learning from these things? And how can we grow? If you don't have kiddos and this is just your personal journey, it's preparing you for what the next steps in your life are going to be. When I was 13, 14, I got my first job. I was waitressing in a restaurant. And as a 14-year-old, I was making phenomenal money, phenomenal cash. And I loved it. I fell in love with the fast-paced environment. I loved talking to customers. I made so many friends that were way older than me. And I just fell in love with it. And to this day, I am so thankful for all of those hard days and all of the communication because it prepped me to talk to people. It prepped me for my journey as a teacher. And it also, on the days when I was working, you know, really, really long shifts and maybe didn't make as great of money, and I was missing out on family parties, and I was missing out on friends' parties, and I was missing out on certain things because I was working, it was teaching me accountability. It was teaching me, you know, to be motivated. And it ingrained in me at such a young age, a teenage age, that, hey, if I keep working really, really hard and I put my head down and I do good in school, because for me, I wanted to go to college. That might not be for everybody, but for me, I did. If I keep doing well in school and have some money, that's going to set me up to get to college. And then if I keep working really, really, really hard while I'm in college and have some money and I'm doing well in school, then I can help pay for my college. And hopefully by the time I get out of college, I will not be so scared of the amount of debt I'm in. I will be able to manage it. I am prepared. I will have a good, I can get a good job based on the degree that I got. And maybe when I get to my mid-20s, I will have a family and I won't have to work 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week plus school. I won't have to do that anymore. And I can tell you now, just looking back, how quickly the years fly by, that I'm on my 10th year of college and I have still maintained like 3 jobs by choice. But I don't work the 6 nights a week anymore. And I am so grateful for those lessons I learned, because the days that I'm home holding my baby and saying, hey, listen, you know, I'm not going to work, you know, extra this week. I can pick and choose because I planted that seed 15 years ago. And I am so grateful. And the last thing I'll leave this kind of like growth mindset, open mindset video with is the idea that we're in this for the marathon and not the sprint. And you'll hear me talk about that a lot. But everything that I do in this life is for the marathon. It is not for the sprint. My marriage, I feel like I grow into my marriage every day. This is not like, oh, you know, you fall in lust with somebody and it's great and it's happy and it's now. No, I picked somebody that I thought I could grow with through my whole life. That would be a great partner, a great parent, you know, works as hard as me, pushes me to be better. And that could be a totally different concept for another day. But everything we do as a couple for our home and in our life is the marathon, not the sprint. I follow Gary Vee. If he ever sees these videos, I would go crazy. I'm like a total fangirl of his. But everything he talks about too is everybody wants things now, right in the moment. And it doesn't work that way. It takes time. Things take time. They don't happen overnight. So find what you're passionate about. Find the things that are very important to you. Hold them super close to you and work on them a little bit every single day. You have a plan for a year from now? Awesome. Write it down or put it on a sticky note or stick it on your laptop so you can see it every day. You have a plan for your family, maybe a bigger house or maybe more children, or maybe write those things down wherever you need to put them. Put them where you can see them, and every single day tell yourself, I'm working toward these goals. And have that growth mindset. Where there's a will, there's a way. Stay open-minded and stay positive to the changes that are coming in your life. Because I can guarantee you, the only thing that we should be comfortable with as a society is change. Because change is all around us and it's always happening. So if we can learn these skills, if we can have grit, if we can have perseverance, if we can work hard, we'll be ready for all of these things that life throws at us. So if you have any stories or anything that you want to share with me about your grit, your perseverance, if anything I said in this video speaks to you today, please let me know. I would love to hear your stories. If you have similar career paths that I do, or a similar story with how you were brought up, if you worked in the restaurant business as you were growing up to kind of make ends meet and pay off some of those extra bills, let me know. I'd love to hear it. But thank you so much if you're watching, and let me know what you think and let me know what other questions you have.